In the last video here on Plant One On Me, we toured the private collection of species begonias at the Fort Worth Botanic Garden, which houses the largest collection of begonias in North America. Now Don Miller, begonia expert and hybridizer, will take us through some of the exquisite cultivars of begonias at the Botanic Gardens.
Okay, this is the cultivar house. We've got about 800 cultivars, and probably one of the more spectacular ones is this one right here. This is a hybrid from Australia, hybridized by Ross Bulwell. It's called Challenger. Huge leaves, spikes go up 2 feet taller than the plant.
Massive. Ooh.
Talking about plant sales, these plants all on this table are for a plant sale. So again, we've got them arranged in somewhat alphabetical order. We keep the rhizomatous plants separated from the, we say rhizomatous, and then the canes and all others. The rhizomatous like to be a little more dry between waterings. The species Heraclifolia in the species house. So you can see a lot of these plants are very similar to it, these cultivars. This is Anaconda. So all different shapes of leaves. These are all rhizomatous. Actually, this one is a hybrid of Sizemori, which we just looked at too.
Gorgeous flower color.
And Xanthina, which is the yellow-flowered Asian species. This one is Almost Heaven. This was hybridized by Bobby Price, who is a volunteer here at the Botanic Garden. She's 96 years old. She just retired, but she had been here like 30 years. She loved to pollinate the begonias and plant them and grow the seed. This is a really spectacular begonia. This is Autumn Embers. And again, it suffered a little bit in the heat. This is an old greenhouse. It's not cooled very well, and we had a hot summer. This was hybridized by Byron Martin at Logie Greenhouses, 2015.
And we've done tour with Byron in his greenhouses as well.
Yes, yes. Autumn Twist. This is one of my hybrids, 2016.
It's like a fun game that you could play. Like a little begonia, you turn around the card and you're like, okay, who hybridized this one? It's like a fun game that you could play at the Begonia Society meeting next time.
And you get points each time you
get it right. And then you could also collect all the cards. You know, you should have the image of the card and then the image of the person on the back. That would be fun. You could trade them.
This is one of my favorite cultivars. This is, let's see, Bashful Bandit. Large leaves, dark color. Well, most of these hybrids here are hybrids of Mexican species. A few of them are hybrids of Asian species, but most of these are from Heraclifolia, Boweri, and of the Mexican, Central America species. So they bloom in the spring. They send out a long spike with tiny flowers, pink or white, occasionally yellow. There's another big one.
And metallic as well.
Uh-huh. This is Big Mac. Paul Lowe, 1982. He was from Florida. In Florida, they did like to breed large begonias because they use them a lot in the landscapes. This one here is Black Fancy. Smaller to medium-sized leaf.
Kind of neat. Almost looks like this red-orange petiole too.
Yes. Petiole with the little scales along the petiole. Sometimes they'll have scales. This one's not as pronounced. Some of these will have large scales on the back of the leaf. This one was hybridized by a lady in Oklahoma, Dorothy Cavanis, 1994. This is Bundy Plum, an Australian hybrid. And look at those leaves close up. The pink colors. And again, these are just coming out. They're just starting to grow again after the hot summer. So this will be, have lots of this silver pink color. Australian hybrid, I think.
It's nice. It's like got a pastel hue to it.
This is an old one, 1914. And this is not a hybrid, it's a sport.
Oh.
So it's a mutation of the beefsteak begonia. And it has this crested margin.
And this is during the time when they could actually choose the Latinized version of the cultivar name. Looks like.
Right, yes.
Bunchii.
Named it after themselves.
Why not?
And as you can see, it's not real stable. Sometimes we'll lose its crest. But yeah, it's an easy one to grow.
It could actually be an appropriate cultivar name because it bunches up around the edges.
Right.
So multifunctional is the name.
This is Kachuma. Big green leaves. And looking at those stems and looking at the back of the leaf, you can see those scales or modified hairs. Now this one here, this is a, well, it's most likely an Asian hybrid. It looks like it's a hybrid of Asian species, and called Candy Stripe. But really that dark pink color. As the temperatures get cooler, the new leaves come out, it'll get more of that pink color in it. This was hybridized by a fellow from Houston, Tom Keepin, very active member of the American Begonia Society. A lot of the hybridizing is done by hobbyists, and a lot of times they like to honor or somehow recognize a friend. So this was named after a lady, Carmel Brown from Australia, who's very active in the Australian and American Begonia Societies. This one's unusual. This is another sport or mutation from Erythrophylla.
Bizarro.
Very, very, yes, very strange,
Yeah.
interesting mutation.
How do they
And
know that it's not like a virus or anything like that?
Well, actually, well, I don't know whether there are some mutations that are viruses.
Yeah.
But I did want to say something about this. This will not grow from a leaf.
Fascinating.
Now,
Okay.
just about all rhizomatous begonias will grow from a leaf, but a few exceptions. This is one of the exceptions.
So what does that tell you? Anything?
I don't know. It's a mutation that tells me one thing. It's a mutant. Just to try it, I put some leaves down in July of last year, and they're still alive, rooted leaves. They're actually starting to die right now.
Does it produce viable pollen?
I have never seen it bloom. I'm not even sure it does bloom. Yeah, sometimes some of these mutations will not bloom. Man has just kept them going just by propagating them as a clone. Well, let's see. We'll just go through and look at a few more rhizomatous.
That sounds great.
Until we run out of time. We'll look at the cane, a slight look at the canes as we go out. Here's another of the crested cultivars.
Looks like something edible.
Yes, common name for them are lettuce leaf begonias. Well, this is one of my hybrids. Trying to get a miniature. Not quite as small as I'd like, but it is a small-leafed rhizomatous. I named it after my mother. Actually, my mother picked the name. She liked to dance. So she said, there is a Dancing Fred begonia, so let's do this Dancing Vera.
Oh, that's cute. Lots of dancing ones. Dancing Yeehaw over here.
Yeah, yeah. Dancing Yeehaw. This is a Deja Thoris, bright silver pink in the leaves. This is a spectacular one. You don't see the colors. Well, the new growth is coming out now that it's cooled off. This is fall fashion, but really it's got these reds and oranges and different colors, you know, when the new growth comes out. This is another Australian begonia, Ross Balwell, very prolific. Yeah, well, this one.
It's hard. I couldn't believe you walked right by it. It's huge.
Yeah. This is Hovian. Let's see here. And this is another Florida hybrid. Tim Anderson did this. And Tim was in the landscape business. And he wanted begonias, different kinds of begonias with big leaves that he could use in the landscape. And so he got a big leaf begonia here. Well, talking about mutations, this is Erythrophylla, the old beefsteak begonia.
Mm-hmm.
And red leaf, you see the red on the back. Well,
oh, yeah.
This one came out with green on the back. So it looks like it grows a little more upright too.
Yeah.
So this was a mutation that we found at Steve's leaves. And
seems pretty stable too.
It does, yeah. We have not propagated it. This is the original mutation. I suspect it's pretty much stable. There are several begonias that have the red right at this little point where it attaches to the petiole. So this is a hybrid. The parent was a species with that red spot. But the hybrid, the red sort of continued down the veins. This is Essie Hunt. Also has kind of a crinkled margin. Another mutation, Erythrophylla helix, has this spiral, has a spiral in the leaf. Another mutation of Erythrophylla. This is another one of my hybrids, Kevin Whitecotton, named after a friend who died of cancer when he was about 40 years old.
This is one of your eyelash begonias?
Yes, yes. This is a bower eye hybrid. So it's a small-leafed rhizomatous begonia. Talk about miniature begonias. This is one of the best little miniature begonias. This again was hybridized with bower eye nigra marga. This is called Libby Lee. But it has a little tiny leaf.
Cute.
We have problems keeping the little ones here because the big ones keep growing over
them. Yeah. You need like a little miniature section.
We do.
Like a little kids table.
Yeah. For the little ones.
Yes.
This is a pretty one. Island Magic. As you can see, it's kind of mind-boggling. There's so many different kinds.
Especially looking at the number also on the whiteboard that you had. It was like over 15,000, right? Cultivars or something along that line.
Over 15,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many cultivars we'll quit counting. And probably hundreds every year. Close to that, new ones. A pretty one, dark leaf. This is Harmony Stormy Sunset. This is a mutation off of Passing Storm. Passing Storm is more of charcoal gray leaf, and this was a mutation that came up with pink in it.
There's one named Martha Stewart. I don't know.
Martha Stewart, yes. Martha didn't do so good this summer. No. I think she likes it cooler.
I was going to say, I don't think she hybridized that herself either.
This came from Logie's greenhouses. And it really is a very nice begonia. Didn't quite take our heat real well, but as you can see, it's coming out. New growth. Martha will live again.
Gray Nurse was something that we saw the other day.
Gray Nurse, we saw that at our Steve's.
It was a
Australian hybrid. Yeah. And we've used it, well, we had an employee, Rayne, her name is Rayne. She used it with bower eye to get some little miniatures. But it is a spectacular begonia, and it's actually named after the shark, gray nurse shark. I had someone say, oh, I have to buy one of those. My mother is a nurse. Well, let's walk down here and we'll... This one right here is really an older hybrid, spectacular, very easy to grow, grows fast, makes a nice hanging basket, hangs down, waxy leaf, a very pretty cultivar. This is Panisovsky, it's a Florida hybrid. And these are the cane begonias in the collection. Actually, this house is a very old fiberglass house. The cooling is not very good, so we have to shade it heavily in the summer just to try to keep it cool. So actually, these would be blooming more and probably do better in brighter light. But again, in the cane-like begonias, you see all the different patterns. This is a funny name. This is So Angela.
It's so Angela.
Sinbad.
Yeah.
Rain dance. Little tiny silver spots. Actually, there is a U number begonia. It's U number 007.
Oh, that's fun.
We think it's a cultivar. So we've selfed it and planted these seedlings to see what the seedlings look like. If it's a species, it's more likely they'll be identical or very close. It's really not confirmed. They are fairly different, but they are very similar.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
So
right
it's
there.
not really firm whether it is a cultivar or a species.
Yeah, you need to get the geneticist in here.
We'll have to, yeah, go to genetics. Okay, I think that's about it.
Yeah, thank you, Don. I think that's just really wonderful. Nice little overview. Can't get them all. We could get some of them.
If you enjoy our videos of botanical knowledge and wonderment, do consider subscribing, hitting the notifications button, and even tipping. Your viewership and support matters. We commit 1% of our Google AdSense proceeds to plant conservation here on Plant One On Me, which we began back in 2021. And we're sowing and growing up some cool gardens and homesteading projects over at our sister channel at Flock Finger Lakes. So if you haven't yet checked that out, do give it a look. See you in the next video.